Welcome back to the HR Ally, your favorite spot to get real-life questions and answers to your NHS interviews. If you've got a Band 4 interview coming up, this video is the video you need to watch to ensure that you have real-life examples to questions and answers that might come out during your interview for a Band 4 NHS employee. This video will help you prepare for your interview with real-life star answers and questions to that NHS interview when you're going for your Band 4 interview. These questions and answers are based on a Band 4 healthcare assistant role in the NHS. It's a current role that has been advertised recently. So this video is been filmed in 2025, and this question and answers are based on a healthcare assistant for a current role that is going on right now. If you want to know what these questions are, stick around and we'll be able to go through them with star questions and answers for you to be able to ace your interview in the NHS. As you're here, don't forget to like, you share, and you subscribe to my channel, where you will get tips and tricks of acing your interview in 2025. 2025 is the year we smash into the NHS. So stick with me and we'll get there. I have prepared 5 different questions and answers for the next interview based on the role of a healthcare assistant in the NHS. I'll be reading out the questions and answers from my laptop, so I'm covering every aspect of these questions and answers based on the star answer that the interviewer would like to hear. Before we go into the video, just a brief introduction about myself. I have over 20 years experience working in human resources, and I've worked in the NHS for the last 10 years, doing different roles from recruitment to employee relations to generalist HR. I know what I'm talking about when I say this is what the interviewers would like to hear, because I regularly sit on interview panels for roles in the NHS. A tidbit is that tomorrow morning I am going to be sitting on an interview panel for a Band 5 mental health nurse. It's going to be a different interview panel because this is a group session interview. So I will probably come around on my live or on one of my channels to explain to you how that interview went after we've had that interview. I have prepared 5 questions and answers for you, but I'll be reading out the questions and answers from my laptop so I don't miss out any of the important answers that you need to be given to the interview panel. This is a different kind of video for you, and I hope that you would enjoy this kind of video, me reading out what is actually expected from you when you're sitting across from that interview panel. The first question that is mostly asked during an interview in the NHS is, tell us about yourself. This is usually an icebreaker question. In most cases, this question is not really scored. So what we want to hear about, tell us about yourself, is how do you fit into this role? What kind of skills are you planning on bringing into this role? So you need to talk about your skills, you need to talk about your experience, you need to talk about the values that you're bringing. You need to also mention the values of the NHS as well, kind of linking it together with your values to ensure that you are the right candidate that we're actually looking for in this role. So we really want to just hear about you yourself, just what you've done, what has motivated you to apply for this role. That's what we really want to hear in this tell us about yourself question. The second question that would be asked during an interview like this, based on the job description that I've picked out for this role, is about the confidentiality and patient record. So a sample question that might likely come out during this kind of interview is, can you give me an example of how you've maintained confidentiality in your role? So what they really wanted you to tell us is about your record keeping, confidentiality, your communication skills, your safeguarding. What are the things that you need to ensure that you are actually putting in place to safeguard that information that has been requested from you? Star answer for this question in an interview is, while working as a Band 3 healthcare assistant on a busy ward, I often had access to sensitive patient records. I was also approached by family members who wanted updates on their loved one's care. What I had to do is I had to make sure I respected confidentiality at all times while still being very supportive and reassuring to the families. When approached by relatives, I would politely explain that I could not share medical details and direct them to a nurse in charge or a doctor for updates. I ensured that any documentation was completed accurately and stored securely, whether on electronic system or in paper files. I also made sure conversations about patients were only held in private areas, never in corridors or communal areas. The result was, by following these steps, I built trust with patients and families because they felt their information was safe. My manager commended me during supervision for always upholding confidentiality and being professional in a challenging situation. This is a beautiful example of how best to answer a question about confidentiality and patient record. A second question that might likely come out for a healthcare assistant role in this scenario is about prioritization and organization. So all these questions that we'll be going through today are based on the person specification and job description of this healthcare assistant. So a typical question regarding prioritization and organization is, tell me about a time you had to manage competing priorities. A good answer to this question is, on one occasion, I was supporting in a minor ops unit when I had to prepare patients for procedures, response to patients, and also respond to a patient who became unwell post-op, and assist with stock ordering all at the same time. It was my responsibility to make sure that all patients were safe and that the flow of the clinic was not disrupted. I quickly assessed what was most urgent. The unwell patients, I stayed with them and carried out physical observation and escalated to the nurse in charge. Once stable, I informed the clinical team and ensured documentation was completed. I then communicated with colleagues to delegate the stock ordering task and returned to preparing patients for procedures. I kept the team updated throughout and everyone knew what had been prioritized. The result was the patients received immediate care and recovered quickly. The clinic continued and there was minimal disruption. My manager later highlighted how well I had handled the situation during our team debrief. This is a very good answer to a question about prioritization and organization. A third question that might likely come out during this healthcare assistant interview is about teamwork and communication. A typical question for teamwork and communication is, can you describe a time when you've worked as part of a team to deliver safe patient care? So a good answer to this question is, while working as a Band 4 healthcare assistant in a community service, I was part of a multidisciplinary team providing care for a patient recently discharged from hospital with complex needs. The aim was to deliver consistent care, ensure the patient's safety at home, and avoid readmission. I liaised with nurses, occupational therapists, and social workers to make sure that the care plan was followed properly. My role was to monitor the patient's observation, assist with daily living tasks, and report any changes promptly. I made sure I communicated clearly during handovers and raised concerns immediately and provided assurance to the patient and their family. The patient remained safe at home, regained independence, and avoided readmission. My contribution was recognized by the team leader, who praised the way I worked collaboratively and communicated effectively. This is a very good answer. You're showing your empathy. You're showing how you were able to delegate, how you were able to communicate, working with multidisciplinary team, which is an essential part of your working life in the NHS, because it's depending on the kind of team you're working in will determine how many multidisciplinary teams you need to be in contact with. So you need to be able to show that you are able to do this effectively. This question that would most likely come out would be around values and compassion, because this is a big part of you working in the NHS, and this is a big part of the NHS. So we need to be able to show our values, our compassion. So a typical question for this values and compassion is, why do you want to work in this band 4 role, and what values would you bring to the role? A good answer to this question is, I started my NHS career as a Band 3 healthcare assistant and progressed into Band 4 roles, gaining experience in both hospital and community settings. Now I'm applying for this Band 4 post because I want to build on my skills and take on more responsibility and continue to provide excellent patient care. I bring compassion, reliability, adaptability to my role. I treat every patient with dignity and respect, value confidentiality, and always aim to make patients safe and feeling supported. I also contribute to teamwork, being approachable and flexible, covering shifts when needed, and supporting my colleagues. My healthcare background has made me very resilient and able to stay calm in challenging situations. I believe that these qualities mean I can deliver safe, high quality care while also supporting the wider team and embodying the NHS values of compassion, respect, and commitment to quality care. This sums up, why do you want to work for us? Can you tell us a bit about yourself? This answer kind of sums it all up for you to be able to be confident, for you to be able to show that, yes, I want this role. Yes, I am the person that you're looking for. Hence the reason why I gave this kind of detailed answer. A question that might likely come out during this kind of interview for a healthcare assistant, it's about health and safety. So a typical question would be, can you give an example of how you've promoted health and safety in the workplace? A good answer to this question is, during a shift in a recovery unit, I noticed that the clinical waste bins was not being used correctly and that sharps disposal was inconsistent. I needed to make sure that the area was safe for staff, patients, and visitors. I immediately disposed of all items correctly and then raised the issue in our team safety huddle. I suggested we have a quick refresher on correct waste disposal, and I offered to remind new starters about these practices during induction. I also documented the near-miss incident on the reporting system, so it was reviewed. The result was, after all this, compliance with waste disposal improved significantly, and my manager thanked me for being proactive in maintaining a safe environment. This is about being able to challenge, being able to actually let people know the right things to do. Even though you're a Band 4 employee, you still have that responsibility to be able to challenge, to be able to bring innovation, to be able to show things, to be able to show your colleagues the right way things should be done if they're not doing things correctly. So there you have it, 6 good questions for you to feel supported enough to be ready for your next NHS Band 4 role. Always remember to structure your answers clearly. If you keep the star format in your answers when answering those questions, when sitting in front of the interview panel, it would help you structure it properly so you know the next points that you need to start raising, so that answer flows much better. Always remember to link your answers to the NHS values and the values of that organization when answering your questions. Also ensure that you're giving enough examples when you're giving your answers, letting them know the exact things that you did when you're answering questions. Do not say team. Do make sure you are talking about what contribution you made to make that situation better. So you need to talk about your own achievements, not as a team, but yourself. You need to showcase yourself in the best light possible. If this video has helped you in any way, please do not forget to like, share, and subscribe to my channel, where I will be bringing you more and more tips, interview preparations, questions and answers on different bands. I've done various interview questions and answers in my channel for you to be able to watch and be ready for your interviews in the NHS. So I would suggest that you watch all my videos. I will link them in the description of this video for you to be able to just go onto them and watch. So this is another fresh perspective into a Band 4 interview question and answer for a healthcare assistant in the NHS. Until next time, where I bring you more insight into interviewing questions and answers in the NHS, please leave a comment in the comment section to tell me what band you are actually applying for, and I can help you make a tailored video to be able to answer questions and answers that are likely to come out in that interview. Until next time, where I bring you more tips, more interview questions and answers, let me know what band I should bring out next. Take care, and I hope to see you soon in my next video. Bye everybody.